Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. Today, right now, I'm on my way to downtown Vancouver again, getting on the SkyTrain or the metro here in Vancouver. It is a clear and pleasant sunny day. Here's the mountain view in the distance from the SkyTrain window, getting closer to downtown. And I got off the train at Stadium Chinatown Station. This area of downtown Vancouver contains lots of heritage buildings and also cafes and restaurants. It's a pretty busy area. And here I'm walking towards the corner of West Hastings and Abbott Street. This is another Prado Cafe in downtown Vancouver. Here I'm sitting down and enjoying my very quick lunch, ham and egg sandwich with a nice cup of latte again. I've been really enjoying having lattes. It's a really healthy option of coffee without sugar. And here is the interior view of the cafe, the view in front of me. It's pretty interesting. And I'm going to sketch it in my art journal. So as always, I use very minimal amount of art materials to do my sketches. So I have my mixed media watercolor sketchbook, spread it out, and an Etchr watercolor palette, one fine liner pen, it's an Etchr brand 0.6 tip, and two water brushes for the watercolor painting. And that's it. So before putting line work on paper, I'd like to take a minute or two to visualize everything I want to include in this sketch, the essential things. I think now I'm ready. So I'm beginning to draw the hanging lamps on the left side. Here's one, and another one on the right side. So these two kind of defines the range of things that I want to include on the left side and right side of the page. So drawing these lamps first, it really helps me to build guidelines to kind of position everything else underneath the ceiling area, the positions in relationship to the positions of these lamps. Yeah, so just keep drawing because some lamps are more further away. That's why they look a little smaller. And also these light bulbs are of different sizes too. So after that, I saw a man with very interesting outfit standing in front of me waiting for his order. So I have to get him down. His jacket and hat is very old-fashioned and it reminds me of the olden days, perhaps like my grandfather. And that's why I decided to include him, drawing all of these folds and wrinkles on his jacket. And he was holding a handbag from a supermarket. Okay, and the height of his body is actually about 1.5 heads lower than those lamps. After that, I'm ready to draw the dishwasher thing in front of him. The top of the dishwasher is just aligning with the top of his hat, and it's roughly in the shape of a prism. On the right side, there's this little cute plant. And I really like those stacking coffee mugs on top of the dishwasher. Just adding some extra lines that I see. And here I am seeing and kind of measuring with mental image of the next thing I want to sketch. This is the container where they put the coffee beans in, coffee storage. Yeah, the top part is semi-transparent. I can see the coffee beans. And here's another thing. This is the base part. It's a tall trapezoid, and here we have a little square shape on top. Add some dark ink shapes to accentuate the form even better. Keep adding more little menus here on the counter. Drawing the bottom counter line. And keep adding more bottles and other utensils in this cafe. And very interesting shapes. This is like a pump thing. Keep connecting. The next thing beside it is an iPad on a stand. So a lot of businesses are using iPads as a modern kind of cashier machines now. and just drawing this barista wearing a mask, her neck and her upper body, her hand with a tapping on the cashier screen. Yeah, and just color in her hair with solid black. Some more menu items, and this is the glass window, coffee packages on top in a row, and another little menu here, some little jars, finishing the thickness of the counter. Add a little bit more detail for this dishwasher thing, and using vertical hatching lines to suggest this dense metallic surface. And there are lots of boxes and little containers around, so just drawing those very quickly with simple square and little rectangular shapes. Accentuate the countertop a little bit and start to add these vertical lines very loosely. As you can see, these lines are of different lengths. I'm leaving a little bit of white space on the bottom left to write the title for today. The name of the cafe, Prado Cafe, is on West Hastings. And now I want to add another barista right in the middle, starting with her hair parted in two parts and her black shirt. She actually came over after I finished the sketch and she really appreciated what I did, and she took a couple pictures and gave me a good gift card before I left. And starting to draw these thin rectangular shapes of boards on the wall. These are shelves. I can see the bottom above my eye level. And yeah, they're in a very interesting arrangement. I'm starting to add these coffee mugs. I really like the color of their coffee mugs in a really light turquoise color, like the sea of the Caribbean. And some more little plants on the shelf, draping down. Some other kind of utensils or little machines. Some more thermal mugs. Another plant here higher on the shelf. And keep adding some more little details behind. These are like posters, signs. There's more tiles behind on the wall. And keep drawing the big and small shapes in between. Here's another funnel holding coffee beans. And this is the border of the wall. And this side on the right is of kind of wooden planks with very interesting old-fashioned windows. So this is kind of like a boat shape. Very nice interior decoration. And now I'm starting to add these very loose parallel lines to suggest the wood texture for this area of the wall. And some more railings up there close to the ceiling. Adding some more loose vertical lines to draw the pattern of the tiles on the wall. So these are actually white tiles. And using very quick little short vertical lines. And keep it very loose and leave the blank space for the viewers to imagine and to make the seeing experience very relaxing for the viewer. Now, I am kind of making a special decision right now. I decided to move this girl sitting on the far corner of this cafe into my sketch. Okay, so she's actually way further on the right in the corner, not right in front of this counter. I decided to move her in because the bottom right is too empty. And she was typing on her laptop. Yeah, so her hairstyle is very interesting, and here is her drink in a mason jar. And the chair in front of her, another chair, So when sketching from real life observations, we have to be really flexible. We have to give ourselves the permission to move things around a little bit to make the composition more balanced. And here I decided to add another girl with short hair sitting in the corner of the cafe too, beside this girl with a bun. And starting to add those little bakery items in the glass display shelf. Yeah, again, very simple lines and shapes. This is the window seen through the glass shelf. And that's pretty much it. So drawing those tiles actually took a bit of patience and time. Writing down the day and the date. Here's a look of my finished line work. Keep watching to see how I paint with watercolors. And it's getting a little busier. Okay, so after about 40 minutes of drawing, I am ready to add watercolors. So I just wetted the whole area with clear water and starting to add this mix of lemon yellow and medium yellow, very much diluted. So you can dilute this right on the paper or get it ready on your palette. There are two ways to dilute this color and any other colors. Okay, this is really to establish a warm, inviting atmosphere using this very light first layer underpainting. It is very common in cafes to have this kind of light yellowish, yellow-orange light. And I just added the color of the drink on the table. And I paid attention to the little shine on the glass jar. And keep painting the other items in this sketch with this similar yellow and orange color. The bakery items in the display shelf. Now I'm grabbing some green. It's verdant green to paint these little leaves of the plants here and there using my medium tip Sakura Water Brush because these shapes are actually very, very small. So when painting a very broad area like the underpainting, I use my big Holbein Water Brush, which is very large and watery. Now I'm coming back to my large Holbein Water Brush again to add some raw umber mixed with burnt sienna. So two kind of browns, play around with the different lights and shades of wood. Yeah, and use pretty thick brush strokes and leaving little streaks of shiny yellow-orange from the first layer to make this wall look more dynamic. And just lay these colors on and let them blend together by themselves, nice and loose and free. And just painting these cute window frames very quickly with leftover dark brown or raw umber. Paint the countertop with leftover bluish gray. So you can mix your own gray by mixing ultramarine blue, pink purple, or royal purple, and verdant green. 3 colors together to make your own gray. Same for the table. The tables are black or dark gray color during daylight. Starting to add these lovely colors of turquoise for these mugs upside down, drying on top of the dryer or the dishwasher. And same for these packages of coffee. Yeah, some more mugs here and there. As you can see, I'm leaving tiny little spots to show the shine of the ceramic. Okay, and now I'm just grabbing some leftover colors on my palette here and there, and just paint in those grayish tones. Sometimes the gray I see is kind of a bluish gray or greenish gray or pink purplish gray. Really relying on my observation and use those leftover colors on my palette. Add some more vibrant yellow orange for that bracket over there. Yeah, just a leftover gray to paint these metallic machines. These have kind of like a blue-green metallic color. As you can see, I'm also leaving little thin streaks to show the highlight of these metallic objects. mix in a little bit royal purple or pink purple to add a bit of shade for these dark blue colors. And also painting this metallic dishwasher or dryer thing here. Again, leaving thin little streaks of white to show highlight of the metal. Using dark brown to paint the coffee beans in the funnel. Again, very light leftover grays to paint the spaces in between. So just have fun. We don't have to always paint inside those lines. Just have fun, put the colors on, let it flow. Now just painting this barista shirt with yellow, purple, and blue. It has a big flower on it. Painting her hair. And those gray colors left over on my palette comes very handy to paint these grayish things here and there. Actually, so many objects in real life have this different variety of gray tones. And gray can be very interesting. We don't have to dilute a black color to get it. We can just always mix our own with blue, pink, and green. And different ratios of those three colors produces different kinds of grays. And again, the more or less water we add into any color, the intensity is different. Yeah, as you can see, I'm adding some more intense grays on top of the first layer with less water and more paint pigment. And keep adding some more fresh greens for those little plants here and there. Another layer of green, so there's a bit more contrast. And sometimes I do break the rules and use the black straight from the palette because there's so many different kind of grays in the middle already, so I really want to just use black so it's not merging with the rest of the grays. And adding a bit of shade underneath each board, pretty important to give 3 dimension. A little bit under the railings. Yeah, so sometimes our brush stroke can be almost invisible, but we're adding those little shade areas to show our understanding of the 3-dimensional world. And now let me see. I see the this area needs a little bit more contrast, a bit more with blue and turquoise. In between here, a little bit more stronger contrast. Yeah, for this part we have to be pretty brave to get the contrast in there. With very bold colors, less water and more paint pigment. Some more royal purple mixed in to show the reflection of the metallic surface. A bit more light gray for those posters. A little bit here and there, the flower pots and the thermal mugs. Now I see the tiles in the front on the lower bottom of this page is still looking too flat. This cafe is actually very, very bright, so there's actually barely any shade. So I think the bottom is a little bit darker, so I just use this brown mixed with blue. And as you can see, I'm just grabbing some blue and royal purple. Dilute that a little bit to add a bit of shade on these white tiles. They're not perfectly white because they're not really in direct sunshine. It's a bright sunny day outside, but the sun is not shining directly on them. So there's still a slight bit of shade using these lively grays and also a bit more intense for the bottom. So these decisions of putting a really intense tone is very important to make our sketches look more powerful. Okay, so don't hesitate sometimes to make certain areas much darker than it seems in real life to get the contrast in. And just switching back and forth between my big and smaller water brush to add details in different ways, more or less loose some more shade on the back wall too. Those tiles are white, but they're not perfectly white like in direct sunshine. There's still a little bit light grayish tone here and there, very loosely, leaving little gaps to shine because there are still indoor lighting, making certain parts a little more shiny. But again, not over adding this grayish tone to overtaken the bright yellow atmosphere underneath. Watercolors is a very translucent or transparent medium that when you add a very watery layer on top of one color, the color underneath it still shines through. Okay, now I'm painting the outfit of this man from memory. I don't remember the color of his hat and his jacket, but I decided to use dark brown just so it really looks more vintage. So this is pretty much a burnt sienna color. Again, painting very loosely, leaving white gaps to show the fold and the ups and downs of fabric. And some leftover dark gray to paint his pants and the handbag. And because this man is right in the foreground, it's very, very important to give him more definition. So as you can see, I'm adding very thin brush strokes of more intense brown to accentuate the wrinkles on his jacket. This is a pretty important decision over here. He's in the foreground and the function is to draw the viewers into the sketch, and it's very crucial to have more details for his outfit. And just adding his body shadow. And because he was standing pretty close to the tiles, there's probably a shadow on there. And same for these two girls. I want to add a little bit of shadow on their side so they're not looking way too isolated from this sketch, and add leftover grays for these chairs and the laptop. And moving on, this is the last stage of this sketch. I'm taking another 5 to 7 minutes to finish the other details in this sketch. Just paint the skin colors for these two girls, and their hair was leftover brown, dark brown, and her jacket, a little bit contrast underneath the arm, the stripes on her shirt. Yeah, so they were still there while I was painting, so great references for the colors. And adding some more streaks of intense brown for the wooden wall here in the back. I really like that piece of wall over there. It's much more interesting than just white tiles only. And here's the look of my finished sketch. So the whole drawing and watercolor painting process took me 1 hour and 10 minutes. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. I update this channel 2 to 3 times a week. And this is the Millennium Gate in Chinatown, Vancouver. This is the other side, the heritage site in downtown Vancouver. Some more heritage buildings around. It's a very beautiful sunny day, so I really want to stay a little bit longer walking around. So see you next time again very soon, everyone. And just a quick announcement about my upcoming classes in May. So here's an urban sketching class, happens 2 times in May. And if you want to join all of the Sunday sessions, here is the full package. If you're a beginner and you really want to start from learning about the fundamentals, you can join this class on Saturday. So the links to sign up are below in the description part of this video.